David Duke, who's a senior strategist at BGC Partners, joins us on the show right now with a quick perspective on what he makes of India ahead of course, the big event. David, it's good to have you on the show. Thanks very much for taking out the time. Now, India has been the second best performing Asian equity market in this year, and these gains continue to come against a backdrop of huge expectations from the budget. Do you think that the political condition would justify such high hopes?
I think the ramifications of not producing in this forthcoming union budget have terrible problems for the Indian economy if they don't come up with stimulus packages, for infrastructure, basically roads, railway, technology, all these things that create jobs and create growth. We've had quite a setback in terms of industrial production. If we take the period April-December last year, it was only 3.6% as against 8.6% the previous year. Now that has to be poor news. And I'm pretty certain now that inflation, despite the fact that oil looms on the horizon very large, there's a serious problem to inflation, but what with interest rates having been jacked up on regular occasions, we've almost got, as they say, inflation back on the bridle.
The government has been fiscally challenged over the last 2 years owing to a number of less measures and a run-up in oil. How are foreign fund flows looking ahead of the budget?
I think what everybody loves about India is the work ethic and the fact that, there is a huge, voracious appetite to be educated, and the middle class in India is growing every day, and therefore the demands of the middle class increase all the time. Their need to be able to have consumer goods, to be better educated, to be able to travel. And this will create the kind of background you need, which will demand, initiatives coming from the Indian government. And I'm pretty certain they're going to be forthcoming.
David, are there any particular sectoral bets that you would suggest ahead of tomorrow's event?
Well, we've still got pretty tight financial controls amongst the banks, really. But when you consider that and the fact that they still have to do the stimulation package, I think you've got to follow the dream. And I think the dream is with communications. Why? It's a cash-rich business. And the kind of infrastructure that they've got at the moment with Tata and Reliance and all these other companies doing extremely well, and everybody probably wanting a mobile more than they want anything else in their life, I think, to reject that as a sector might be folly. And there again, I go towards construction. I think that has an awful lot to offer as well. And also the areas of technology. Long term, I like emphasis very much. And I, say to my clients, and that's where they're sticking with it. So basically, technology, communications and construction.
Do you feel the policy paralysis gripping the government is likely to loosen in tomorrow's event?
I think so, but as we know with India as a country, much as we love and respect, as I say, its work ethic is absolutely stooped in bureaucracy. And it does take an awful lot of long time for that bureaucracy to be broken down. But I'm pretty certain, knowing that's what's required, you've got this really stimulated population that demands to be educated, that demands to be able to have things in its home. Therefore, they can't hold it back for that long.
What's your outlook on the rupee then, David?
Well, I think when you've got interest rates as high as it is, as they are at the moment, when they're up, in 6-7% and likely to remain so for some time until inflation is really wrapped under control, and that can't be in the foreseeable future. The rupee at that sort of level is going to attract money. So on the whole, I think most people who trade the currency would be rather have it than not.